Hello internet friends, how's it going? I'm Laura, aka Shop Von V. I sell vintage and modern on platforms such as Poshmark, Etsy, and eBay. This week I decided to get out of my styling rut. I know obviously springtime is going to be a little bit hard to, get your fashion sense going and have fun with some outfits, but we will be able to go outside again eventually. I thought it would be kind of fun this week to pull some inspiration from top designers such as Chloe, Gucci, and Dior. I studied their spring campaign and now I am limited as far as the clothing that I have available for obvious reasons. Typically I would do something like this and go to the thrift store and find all these items. But I had to make do with what I had, which actually makes it all that more challenging and fun. So let's go ahead and dive in, see what I was able to create. For the first campaign, I went with Chloe. This was really what gave me the inspiration to begin with. I was looking at a lot of their designs and I was just like, man, this campaign was amazing. The fun thing about a lot of these top designers is they really don't steer away very often from their signature looks. So Chloe, I've always noticed, is like very neutral pinks and browns. That's always their signature. And then in fall time, it's like burnt orange and browns and pinks. So I went ahead and pulled most of the brown and pink collection that I have currently in my store. And yeah, did some mixing and matching, that's for sure. This first look was actually combining two pieces. I have this pink lingerie slip dress from the 1970s with floral embroidery on it, and I layered it on this 1980s, 1990s Victoria's Secret slip dress. And this, with the puff sleeves and the little accent around the collar line, just gave it that like instant Chloe vibes. But yeah, I think this just goes to show the power of layering. Sometimes just getting creative with the pieces that you wouldn't really think to put together, but when you layer them together, it just works. Something about it. To top it off, I actually had a belt that I got in a reseller box swap from Shop Foxborough, Brittney. I'll leave a link to her channel down below, but she sent me this awesome belt that, even though it didn't fit me high-waisted, which, I mean, it makes sense. Most belts don't fit you up here, but I wrapped it like twice and kind of pulled it a little bit tighter and it stayed, so it worked and I loved it and it was very creative. I'll pat myself on the back for that one. So another one of the signature pieces I noticed about this Chloe campaign specifically was the very broad shoulders. Everything was like very 1980s strong shoulder on it. So I knew I had a Esprit denim jacket in their signature brown tone color that I could very easily turn into that look. It's not quite as strong of a shoulder as I had hoped for, but it still did the trick. And the shorts I actually pulled from my personal collection. They're not vintage. I just thought they were cute. Bermuda shorts and that like cargo style is definitely in. I did notice that they paired a lot of these shorts with layers underneath, which I thought was really interesting. It's not really a style choice that I personally would have gone with, but it was definitely different. I don't know if that's something maybe you could create that look with like a super long shirt, kind of like a boyfriend button down. I definitely thought that trend was a little different, but we'll see. I mean, stuff like that, I'm always like, yeah, it's never gonna work. It's never gonna be in style. And then like a year from now, it's just everything that everybody's wearing. The last look that I did from the Chloe campaign, it's not quite the exact identical look, but again, I'm working with, little resources here. I do have these silk trouser pants. They're wide leg, which I noticed in this specific style, they're actually more of a tapered leg. I don't currently have anything that's tapered. Pretty much everything I ever collect seems to be wide leg and flowy. So this specific look, again, I was tapered, but we're working with what we got. And then I actually, shockingly, don't have any button-down dresses. I think those tend to go really quick when I get them in the store. So I didn't have any button-downs, so I had to get a little bit more resourceful with this one too. But I do have, and this one is like, with all the loungewear going on right now, it just makes sense. This is a new tag dead stock Christian Dior little wrap robe. I mean, honestly, with this look, it just went perfectly. So yeah, I was pretty stoked on that one. I've honestly been eyeing this for a really long time. It's been kind of sorted in my personal collection. I never really like put it in my own closet. It's just been on my display rack for the longest time just because it's such a beautiful piece. It's so rare to find Dior new with tags like this. So it was, yeah, it was something that I was debating on keeping. I'm glad that I threw it into this look so that I could create something out of it, but let's be real. Probably go in my shop here pretty soon. Some of the pieces that I thought I would mention that, again, I don't have in my personal collection right now or in my store, that once things are somewhat back to normal and we have the ability to go thrifting again, I definitely will be keeping an eye out for tops with ascot ties on them. I noticed that was a big trend with the Chloe specifically. I noticed though they're not tying them, it's just being left open, so it's more of like just like a layered look. Another way you can do this obviously is just by getting like a neck scarf, but I really think those like light airy pink tones and brown tones right now together combined and just like a really flowy neckline, it's a good look. Okay, so next up we're gonna dive into the Dior spring collection. Now this one, I think this was the most challenging one because honestly I just don't have, I didn't really have anything, but I made it work one way or another. I guess you can say this is more like eyebrows, like the looks are sisters, not twins, you know? We're gonna go with that for right now. Not everything came together perfectly. However, I think the silhouettes was what I accomplished on this specific trend. First, I want to start with the skirts. They have a ton of skirts that were all that like midi length in their collection. So it doesn't quite hit that maxi length, but it's that midi kind of like bohemian vibe going on. The tones that I had available for this are very fall time. So I felt like the outfits kind of just instantly fell into a fall time look. However, this is their spring collection. So again, sisters, not twins. For this one, I did a striped little number with a jabot neckline and a high-waisted midi length skirt. I'm actually really surprised. I featured this skirt in a haul video like ages ago and it still hasn't been snagged up, which is kind of a bummer, but you know, maybe there was a reason. But yeah, very Dior vibes with this one, to be honest with you. A lot of their campaign is like either florals, color tones like this, and just this like length skirt. So it worked out perfectly. Again, mixing a pattern like this, I think if this was in like a muted brown, this really would have worked better. But I think because this has black in it, it actually pulled together okay. And the funny thing is the neckline on this one brought me back to the Chloe campaign to give this look another try, because a lot of the Dior style right now is very like boxy, almost that knit with like a shag around the side cardigans, which to me is really interesting because that's very popular in vintage styles, especially from the 80s. I pulled this one. This is for my personal collection. I actually got this specifically to sell, and then I noticed there were a ton of areas that needed repairs. So a lot of times when stuff like that happens, I just like donate it to myself and end up keeping it because I'll put in the repairs or I won't. And yeah, it won't bum me out so much. So, but like sending something that's, you know, got a bunch of like holes throughout the edges, you know, I don't want to do that to someone. So, so yeah, but this specific style, like the cut of it is really what made me feel like it had those Dior vibes. Again, the color tone on it is a little more fall vibes, but I do appreciate the cut specifically on this one. And of course, with any look like this, it's so easy to belt it. You can even wear it as a top when you throw on a belt, but this just gives you that structure, especially when you have a skirt that kind of loses your waistline in it. A lot of times just throwing on a belt when you have like a wrap cardigan like that, you instantly get your waist back and it just elevates the look that much more. Okay, so this is the very last look from the Dior campaign. And yes, I know, again, I struggled with this one. I don't know if I'm being too hard on myself or if really it was like just lost in translation. But when I saw these pants, I instantly thought of a flight jumpsuit or that like utility jumpsuit. Now, Now, she's not actually wearing a jumpsuit in this, but those pants just have that like utility structure to them. So I actually currently have a pair of Big Mac coveralls right now that I am getting ready to list in the shop. And I thought layering these would be a really fun look to kind of pull that together. And this is cheating a little bit, but I didn't actually have any like muted brown blouses or sweaters available currently. So I pulled this from my modern shop. This isn't a vintage label. It's a brand by Massimo Alba, which is kind of a high-end like Johnny Was style vibe to them. But I thought this like kind of paired over this. I popped the collar out, folded up the sleeves, which again, the sleeves, interesting thing about this is that actually links back to the Chloe campaign. Big thing with Chloe this year or this season was sleeves coming out of the end. So that made me think like, why not pull that through? It's kind of funny, but like in every campaign, I feel like I just kept going back to Chloe. I think the layering on this was a lot of fun. I think it kind of actually made this outfit. I think when people get flight suits, they don't necessarily always think to layer it and make it like a little bit more of a unique style. I see a lot of people, they'll actually take the flight suit off the shoulders and tie it around the waist so you can make them into pants and then pair them with a top. I love that look. On to those Gucci vibes now. And no, I did not pull any red pants. If you know me and you've been following me long enough, you know that I love finding red pants, mainly because they give me Gucci vibes. But no red pants were pulled for this look. The fun thing about Gucci, if you look at any of their campaigns, they very rarely will they stray from their like very iconic look that they have. I honestly don't even know the verbiage to describe what their iconic look is. It's just very like Wes Anderson. Which is funny because obviously Gucci came before Wes Anderson, but you can tell they like there's some connections going on with that look. Personally, I think just about everybody, if you have a wardrobe that is eclectic, you can pull together a Gucci look. Like it's one of the easier things to accomplish, I think, because it's just wacky and whimsical, but as long as you have some key pieces to pull together, you're gonna do just fine. And I also want to shout out another vintage company, LA Retro Girl. To me, every time I see her stuff, I'm like, Gucci vibes. She's got that. She knows what she's doing. So if you're not following her, please go follow her. She's amazing. So this first look, again, color tones, not the same thing, but it was the structure of the outfit that pulled me in. So I currently have these white 1980s straight leg pants. Now the pants in the photograph are bell-bottom style, so they do have like a tiny bit of flare. It's very minimal. You often find though that style cut in like 1970s Levi's, the polyester pants. I love those. I used to, when I first started this, I used to find them all the time. But I've noticed as of lately, I do not find them as much as I used to. So I don't know if somebody like weirdly hoarded 1970s polyester bell bottoms, but they seem to have dried up in Los Angeles. It's kind of bizarre, but I absolutely love that style. This cut definitely reminds me of that look. I paired it with a wet look gold button-down blouse that, I mean, yeah, this is just Gucci vibes all the way. And then a braided leather belt. It was a very easy one to put together. This one comes from their Disney collection, which is a super fun campaign that I really enjoyed seeing. They actually did a lot of the photo shoot within Disneyland, so it was very fun and nostalgic to see that. So I obviously have a ton of vintage Disney. That's like the one thing that I will always hold on to if I find in the vintage world. I cannot part ways with vintage Disney. So the moment I saw this one, I was like, oh, that's gonna be easy. I got this one. However, when I pulled it together, I did realize I really think the cream knit on this color tone is what made this outfit, but still, it works, and it's that like Gucci vibe. So with this one, I actually paired a silk Betsy Johnson paisley print slip skirt with my 1970s Mickey Mouse pullover. I noticed the collar line really was kind of what made this specific look, so I just got eclectic with it, and I just pulled a button down 1970s blouse. Going back to that Chloe campaign, I made sure that the cuffs were sticking out a little bit just to give it that, like, you know, different, unique style to it. I think when you're pulling looks from Runway, sometimes that just elevates it that much more, is to give it that, like, unique, not quite normal look. And of course, Gucci, one of the easiest ways to replicate Gucci, in my opinion, is to throw socks on with shoes. That always seems to be a look that they go for. I have a pair of tie-dye socks that, obviously tie-dye is another big trend going on right now. So I put tie-dye socks on with some platform heels, and bada bing, bada boom, you got yourself a Gucci look. And the very last Gucci look, which is yet another piece that I featured in a haul video, and no one has snagged it up, but it was perfect because the moment I saw this coat, I was like, Gucci vibes. There it is right there. It was so easy to pull this look together. It was literally just sticking with the same socks combo look, throwing on the jacket. And I noticed that the turtleneck was peeking out in this photo, so I went ahead and threw a turtleneck on really easily. And one of the last things that always makes Gucci, again, if you want to create a Gucci look super easily, little knit beret. Boom, Gucci. I actually, this was hand knit by my grandmother, so this is another thing that will always be in my personal collection. I will never part ways with this. This is a very special piece to me. But I absolutely love that every time I look at this, I instantly think like a designer knit. So yeah. So some things that I will definitely be looking for from the Gucci campaign when I can go back to thrifting: high-waisted bell bottoms. I think anything like polyester vibes with that, definitely, for sure. And then also prints. Gucci is huge with prints. Anything like Baroque, damask, any of those, brocade. Yeah. You can't go wrong. Very Gucci vibes with that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know a lot of us are itching to get back out there, but for obvious reasons, we need to stay home, follow the rules. I miss the thrift stores so much, just as much as the next person, but it's just crucial that we follow these rules and stay home and just have fun with the items that you already have in your closet. Hopefully you guys got inspired with some of these looks. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.